and good afternoon, and welcome to yet another day with me in my kitchen. Welcome to Queen's Curry Kitchen. I'm Chef Nupur, and you're in my kitchen. What are we talking about today? Well, you can clearly see I came from somewhere. I still have my glasses on and everything, and I have to run out somewhere. So, life is busy, life is crazy, but there's also something called midweek boredom busters. No, midweek boredom. And what I'm going to do today is actually trying to bust that midweek boredom with something interesting to my palate. As you know, I live in Queens and we have access to the most diverse cuisines of the world. And I personally am very inspired by Mexican, Tex-Mex, South American, Latina. And what I try to do is I try to create some of those flavors in my kitchen every now and then. I get tired of eating Indian food. Yeah. Okay, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to make tacos, but the twist is that I'm not going to use any oil. And I will make kidney bean tacos without any oil, and also the tortilla I will make will be from scratch without the use of any gluten flour. So I have a gluten-free flour that's ready to go. Well, that's a tongue twister. And I just realized that I don't have store-bought taco seasoning, which comes in a packet, and sometimes that's a good thing because the sodium levels in that are extremely high. Sometimes they have monosodium glutamate, which is really not the greatest thing for your body. So I dug into my Indian roots, and from my masala box, I picked out cumin seeds. So I'm going to start the process by roasting these cumin seeds just a little bit on my pan. Give me a second so I can tilt the camera so you won't miss out on the fun, right? I do have to run out in like a few seconds. So I'm going to just make it really, really quick. Okay, I hope that's a good view of the scenario here. Okay, so I have this going, and I'm just going to give it a quick, like not even blacken it, just, you can see that it releases this nice aroma. So that's basically what we're going after. Pardon me for not having my rag ready. Okay, and yep, that's about it. It's done. So I'm going to remove this, get it out of here. And basically, we will grind it. So it's going to give us that taco seasoning taste. All right, now because I'm not going to use any oil, I won't be using any fresh onions because to fry that, you need oil and all that crazy stuff, which I intend not to use. So what I will do is I've started with 1 can of kidney beans, good old kidney beans, like you get in the store. Throw it right in there. And here are my flavoring agents. I am going to use garlic powder. I love garlic powder, especially if you're doing oil-free cooking. All these powders come in really handy because you don't have to fry, you don't have to chop, and hence you don't need oil. So if you're trying to eat oil-free like me, it doesn't mean that we have to sacrifice or skimp on flavor. So there goes my garlic powder, just basic ingredients we always have in our pantry. And my secret ingredient is salsa, just readily available. I like to use medium. If you like it hot, you can use hot. If you like it mild. So by adding salsa, which is already an oil-free, fat-free food, you're basically adding some body to your beans. Because other than that, they're just dry beans, and I just can't eat dry stuff, right? Okay, so these are just going to simmer. I'll add a little bit more salsa. And I'm also going to add this thing called chile lime seasoning. You may or may not have it. If you have something similar to this is from Trader Joe's. Use it by all means. If you don't have it, it's not what cheese is to pizza. You'll still live, okay? So we're going to get this done. And I'm going to let it simmer for a minute. I do have cilantro, of course. What's Mexican without cilantro? Sometimes I feel like, Mexicans and Indians are cousins or something because a lot of their spices, a lot of their techniques are so similar to the way some regional Indian foods are cooked. It kind of baffles me that these two civilizations are so ancient. Back when there was like no internet, there was no cars, there was no way to go from place A to, there was not even bicycles, even the wheel was not invented, and yet their food cultures are so similar, right? Okay, I'm going to turn up the heat on this really quickly. Oh, and you know something? I have this. I'm a sucker for cleaning out the bottom of the fridge and adding whatever I can. to enhance flavor in my life. I'm going to take this, whatever's left of it, and I will chop it up and put it in there. It just adds a really nice aroma to the beans. I don't do heat, so I don't like jalapenos, but if you do jalapenos, if you like pickled jalapenos, by all means use that. This just gives it a nice texture. It gives it a nice flavor. Just throw it all in. It doesn't have to take all day to do this. I think it's calling for a little more water, so I'm going to probably just give it a splash of water just to help to marry the flavors a little bit, okay? Listen, if you have mushrooms, you can put mushrooms. It just gives it that nice meaty texture. Hi, Manta, how are you today? I'm doing quick tacos, oil-free and gluten-free, and I'm just adding flavors from my pantry. No special shopping skills required. So that's what I'm making right now. I started with a can of beans, and I added garlic powder, onion powder. I roasted some cumin seeds, and I'm going to pop them right in here in a second. Okay, so I'm going to come back with a little bit of water. There you go. And I'm going to increase the heat a little bit because I really don't like dry beans. And if you like them to be mushy, you can always like press them down with the back of your spatula and break them up a little bit. That's fine too. At this point, you can check how the flavor is. It's a little too tart, so I think personally it needs a little more salt. I only do Himalayan pink salt and sea salt. I really don't use table salt. And that's actually a good thing if you don't use store-bought packets of taco seasoning, because you really don't know what is the sodium and what is the source of it. So this is looking really good. I'm just going to let it cook. I'm going to let it cook out for a minute. I also have these cumin seeds that are waiting, so I just roasted them. I'm going to give it a little bit of a rough roll here. I may not need it all. It's just probably a lot. But it is what essentially gives Mexican food its zing, you know, the cumin powder. And I didn't have any, so I just made some, okay? It doesn't have to be finely ground. It could be just coarse like I did, or if you have the time, go for it. So this is extra. I guess I'm just going to save it and use it for something else. While that is happening, I am actually going to show you two accompaniments that I'm going to plate with this. Oh my God, it smells so good right now. You have no idea. Something as simple as this. Remember, there is no oil in this food. So, you know, just to get the flavors going and just to have something releasing its aroma is absolutely, mwah, it's priceless. Okay, so what I have going is I have a jar of salsa, which I filled with 3/4 vinegar and a little bit of water. I put a little salt in it and I put a little bit of sugar in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cabbage, which was sitting in the bottom of my fridge, and stick it in there. Okay, so I live in an ethnically very diverse neighborhood, and I'm surrounded by a lot of Middle Eastern and Russian stores, and they have all these pickling things that they make and preserved foods, and I'm just always inspired by that. So I just figured that this might be a very quick slaw to top on top of our tacos. And I also have these. These are my favorites. So these are little juliennes of beetroot. You know, you get that special peeler which helps you to do this. You just do it once and then it kind of splits it into these little things. So I'm going to also add a few of these. I make a batch of these and then I just use them on top of each and everything. It's just, I'm just a sucker for color on my food, and I eat with my eyes first. So I just feel like just because I'm not doing any oil, it doesn't have to be boring, right? So yeah, it already has some salt. The beets will add the sweetness. I did add some sugar, even though I don't eat sugar. I have added some. So if you like it on the sweeter side, at this point, if you want to add a jalapeno or two, you should totally do that. If you like crushed red pepper, you can do that. Just do what works for you, man. Yeah. Food does not have to be boring. And, you know, middle of the week, you just get tired of eating the same old stuff. So see how instantly it just kind of gives it that pop of color. Oh, my God, I love this thing. And then you just If you're going to preserve it for a long time and you have enough time when you're going to eat it, then I would say increase the amount of water that you're putting. But I just wanted an instant pickle, so there was about this much vinegar and just really a very little bit of water. So that's ready to go whenever we're ready. This is almost ready to go. I'm going to get this thing out of the way. And now on to our tortillas. So we're making tortillas from scratch as well, because I just don't like the tortillas that we get in the market, because they're made with white flour, and that's not my favorite thing. Okay, so this is a gluten-free flour that's made with flax seeds, quinoa seeds, rice, 2 different kinds of lentils, 3 different kinds of millets, chia seeds, flax seeds. Did I say that? Yeah. So this is a flour that's made from that. It has 0 wheat flour in it, and I use it to make my rotis. I also use it for tortillas. If you have white flour and you want to make tortillas from scratch, trust me, once you make your tortillas or your breads from scratch, you will never go back to buying store-bought tortillas. So they have that, your palate will tell you when it can sense that preservative kind of feel. Okay, so this is our gluten-free tortilla. I will add a little bit of salt to this, just a little bit. Same Himalayan pink salt, I use that for everything. And so the proportion of this gluten-free flour to water is about, for every cup of flour, you need about a half a cup of water, but add the water really, really slowly, because it can get out of control very quickly. And you'll see this flour is a little bit darker than our regular wheat flour that we use for rotis, only because it has so many other things that are added to it, and it's gluten-free. Also, another tip for gluten-free flours is anything that you're making, sometimes the best thing to do is to boil some water and add that to the flour, and then stir it with a wooden spoon, and then cover it and let it be. And then automatically it comes together into a smooth shape, and you can just knead it like any other flour. So boiling water actually is a good trick to work with when you're doing any kind of gluten-free flour. It just helps to bind it better. Okay, I think I did a pretty decent job here. I'm going to get it out of the bowl just so you can see it better. So the trick of knowing that your dough is ready is when your bowl is clean, and so is my hand. Mamta, this is a gluten-free flour that I actually bought, but my company that actually makes spices and flour blends can actually ship you some. So we also make different kinds of flours. If you're interested, you can always PM me, and I can send you a sample, or you can request like a half a pound bag or a 1 pound bag, and I can share all the nutritional information. I can share all the information that it contains so that you can order with confidence. Okay? Yes, but it's not just gluten-free flour. It's a multi-grain gluten-free flour. So it has a lot of dals, it has quinoa, it has rice, it has 3 different kinds of millets, it has chia seeds in it, flax seeds in it, and it tastes like regular flour. Also handles like regular flour as well. Okay, so this is ready. I'm gonna get ready to roll this out. I made a mess. And this is also ready. So all I'm gonna do is just get this off of here and bring a pan for my tortillas. Okay, so here is our non-stick pan. I'm gonna get it nice and hot. Get this out of the way so you can just see better. Okay, so just really simple. You take your dough, make a little ball, roll it out, give it a 90-degree turn, roll it out, dredge it in the dry flour, roll it out. You can make them as small or as big as you want. You will see that the edges are cracked. However, if you use the hot water, the boiling water trick, you'll see that you'll get perfect edges with that. It comes out really smooth. Any kind of gluten-free flour that you're trying to work with, whether it's sorghum, whether it's millet, whether it's chickpea flour, just use boiling water and get it going, and then boom. Once you let it sit, when you roll it out, it'll not have these uneven cracked edges, okay? Now, a lot of people like to use something and cut the edges off. You can do that if you want. Like, I've never done it, but I'll try it. Also, I'm not too crazy about having straight edges on my tortilla, but if that's what rocks your boat and you don't like the rough edge tortilla thing, then there you go. So this is nice and hot. It's almost getting there. Okay, I'm going to gather this up. While this cooks, I'm going to roll out one more. If you get tired of your midweek routine, let me know what are the things that you like to eat, or how do you like to switch things up a little bit just to do something a little bit different and get out of your midweek boredom, right? We all like to do things. By Wednesday, it just seems like, this lull is crazy. It's Friday yet. And I like to do that with my food as well, right? So I did one by trimming the edges, and the other one I'm going to do without trimming, so you can see both. I really don't have a preference of one over the other. They actually cook exactly the same, so it really doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So you can see that this thing is forming a few bubbles up top. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay the one right next to it. Let me also, at this point, chop up some lettuce. I know we have the cabbage, which is kind of like the slaw that's going to go on. This is triple washed romaine lettuce that I bought. I got a huge bag that was this big for like $2. Yeah, don't even ask how, but I live in this neighborhood that has the best deals on produce. Like, it's amazing. I would never want to live anywhere else just for that one reason. Okay, that's that. I'm going to get rid of my food scraps. Oh, talking about food scraps, I actually had celery scrap that I was holding on to. And then I stuck it in the mud. I'll show you. You can see I don't have a huge backyard or anything. I live in an apartment, but let me show you what it looks like. Look at this. This is celery that I was trying to root in water. And then I stuck it in this mud pot, and see what it looks like. Isn't that cute? Yeah. So somebody rightly said that, life will always find a way. And it does. So I don't have a green thumb, so I don't really grow too many things. But when you see things actually working, it's a very good feeling, honey. Okay, time to clean. There was a chef that I worked for, and he used to say, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. Yep. There was no procrastinating in the kitchen when he was around. Okay, let me just give you a quick sneak peek into how this tortilla looks. It's nice and brown. You can see there's like little brown dots forming on it. And let's just pile it on top. So they will both cook really nicely. I think we are getting ready to plate now. We shall do that right now. Ta-da! Yeah, just nothing exciting, just a boring white plate, right? I know that that's not what you expect from me, but here I am. Okay, so they're both browning up nicely. You definitely want to cook it to good doneness, and you want to have enough brown spots. The one thing I hate is when people are trying to do like their meal prep, or they're doing videos and they take a cold tortilla and then they just like don't even warm it up and then start putting fillings in it. Ew, no, don't do that, please. Oh, that's not cool, bro. Okay, so this one is, so you can see this is the one with the jagged edges. This is the one with the smooth, and depending on whatever size preference you have, go for it. Just make it your own. I just feel like sometimes we put so much pressure for all these rules that we have to follow that we basically, it zaps the joy out of doing the process altogether. And that's not fun. Okay, so one is ready. You know what? I should actually open up my avocado. I don't know what condition it might be. It looks a little soft. I don't know if it's still edible or not. We shall see. Okay, so my second tortilla is almost done as well. Yay! I do have to run out, so how you want to just sit down and eat your lunch and not have to worry about going anywhere. But yay, this is good. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to smash this avocado right on top. Oh my God, this is good. Alrighty, so time to turn this off. Both our tortillas are nice and warm. Just roast this one a tad bit longer. Gonna take this. I have to get a spoon to scoop it out. Oh, don't mind me. I just keep singing all the time. And I'm gonna bring over the beans. Remember the yummy beans that we made? Yeah, I remember those. Of course. The beans that we made together. So, okay, so here's everything ready for assembly. I think this is ready to go. Yep, nice and toasty. If you do oil, you can actually sprinkle a little bit oil and it keeps it softer for longer. So that's done. That's done. Everything is done. I've turned this off. And so I'm going to take this avocado. Oh my God, I love avocados. And just smash it right onto, so it's going to make it nice and creamy. You don't really need any kind of oily thing going on. Smash it right on. There's enough for, this is just half an avocado. I do have an entire half that I'm not even using yet, but because my tortillas are just so tiny, I think they should be enough. So it gives it like a nice creamy base, and then just split the other so that you have evenly in both. Yay, this is fun. And if you do cheese, by all means, you can use your favorite cheese. You can use sour cream. I don't have any. And I'm not really feeling cheese-like, so I won't get any. I'm going to hit this with some chile lime dressing because it has that nice tang of lime. Here are my beans going on. Slap it on. Yeah, okay. So you can see this is really a generous looking tortilla. Oh, how could I forget my pickles? Yeah. Alrighty. And these yummy pickles that are going on top. Now tell me, would you not want to eat this like right now? Yeah, I am. I hear you, baby. I feel you. I know you want to eat it. That's why I made it. So you know what? I hope you will give this a try. It's not that complicated. It's great for a midweek dinner night when your family is just